One day, I went to school. There was a kid named Billy. He picked on us and wanted our lunch. Then, after school, I went home. I was doing my homework. Then I suddenly took a nap. I had a nightmare about Billy. He was in the abandoned house. He had a knife in his pocket and had a sander to sharpen his knife. Then he took a long piece of skin that was bloody from one of his parents. Then he was sewing it to make a mask or something. Billy was a mask collector. He liked masks with stamps, tags, and company names still on them. He collected them, and he was wearing one of his masks while sewing the skin of his mother. The mask was disturbing looking. It was innocent. It had a large smile and had a jester hat. It was like a jester, but was disturbing, and then Billy looked at me. Then I woke up from my nap. I then fell asleep and never had that dream again after that. Then the next day at school, I was writing an essay. I looked out the door and saw Billy and his friends skipping class. They had a box of matches in their hands and a big bag. Then we were at lunch and I saw Billy and them run into the bathroom. I got up and watched them. They lit the box of matches. Billy slipped on a black mask. Then he threw the box of matches in them. The bathroom caught on fire. The principal was on lunch duty, and then spilled the bathroom on fire. He started running towards the bathroom. Billy and his friends ran out of school, and the principal pulled the fire alarm. And then I went out of school, and Billy and his friends were going down the tracks. I decided to follow them with my curious self. A few minutes later, they went in Billy's house. I looked out the window and saw him and his friends in the house alone. The cars were still there. I looked at his shelf and I saw his mother and his father's skin sewn up into a wearable mask. I went through the window into the house and I was looking through stuff, and then Billy was behind me. He said, "What are you doing in my house?" Then he said, "Guys, corner this kid." They cornered me, and he pulled his knife out and put the knife to my cheek, and he said, "You got until the count of 3 to leave." And he said, "If not, you're going in my collection of masks forever." Then I ran out of his house, running to go back to school. When I got there, the whole school was on fire. Things got worse. The police was even there. The police went up to me and he said, "Did you burn this school?" I said, "No." I know who did though. His name was Billy. He is 14 years old, in the 5th grade. He and his friends burnt down the school, and he killed his parents a long time ago. The police said, "I've heard of that kid before. He's been in juvenile for 10 years. I was shocked at what the police said. And he rode, and I rode the bus home. Then while I was at home later that night, I saw Billy walking down the road. And he went to the old company store down at the end. The windows were boarded up, and he had a bat with him. While I was following him, he knocked down the window and went outside and looked. Then he went inside in the building. He was looking through the stuff. There was like old lamps and antiques in there. Something caught his eye. It was a jar with a human heart in it. The heart was still beating, and it was like alive. There was blood still in it. It was like pumping. Then he saw a shadow behind him, and Billy said, "Who are you?" The shadow got closer, and then it was an old man. But it didn't look like any old man. His face was ripped and had pieces of meat coming off. He had a huge hole that looked ripped, and Billy said, Is this your heart?" Well, with a scared voice. The man said, "You get to keep it." Then Billy threw the heart down and ran out of the company store. Then the old man looked at me first, and then I got scared. I started running in the woods and up the hill. There was a cave that was empty and dark. Then I looked down the hill. I saw Billy running towards the creek, and I didn't see him after he made the biggest scream. The next day at school, I didn't see him. Nobody saw him again, not even when we graduated the 5th grade. I was wondering that he tripped and cracked his skull on a rock. I was thinking about the old man, and I thought that he killed Billy. The old man has never been seen again.